What's good, my boy? We are all so lucky, and we should all be so grateful that we are alive at this point in time in history. We live in the most inspiring time of all time. If you think back in the past, quality of life wise, it's better than it's ever been. If you think back in terms of age of information, it's better than it's ever been. You have access to more things, more possibilities in this whole fucking world than the most wealthy, richest, successful, fucking powerful person in the 90s. You just have this shit. The often I dismiss or talk down about or talk about the pool of this device, but it's truly a blessing more than it's a curse, okay? Whenever I say it's the most inspiring time, you have the ability to literally do whatever the fuck you want, not boxed in at all. I have a group of interests. I like to build things out of wood, metal, whatever the fuck it is, for whatever task it needs. I can build a house, I can build a deck, I can build a fucking fine sculpture, I can build a piece of art, I can carve a fucking animal out. I can do a lot of things with wood because I've developed this skill. I'm absolutely obsessed with music, the process of making it, all aspects of it, to the fucking placement of a microphone on a drum set to have this certain tone, to using this compressor for this fucking blah blah blah, to oh man, I like the way my fucking hand slides up and down the neck of this guitar. I'm obsessed with that shit. I love oil painting. I love the fact of every single time whenever I create a painting from my mind, it's like I feel the creative cogs turning. I feel, oh, what if I put this here? Well, what if I do this whole element to this thing and boom, there it is. I love squeezing the fucking paint out of the tube. I I have a variety of interests. I love powerlifting. It almost feels like a samurai type traditional sport where it's like I got my barbell and I got my weights and I got this specific technique on a deadlift where I hook grip and I hook my thumbs around and I bend them in, and it's like my body feels like it's one, and I have all these different interests and I do not have to pick one. In the past, I might had to dumb it down to just one thing. And I don't have to do that anymore. I don't refuse, not anymore because I wasn't fucking born before this shit. But I don't have to do that like my predecessors. I don't have to choose. I can be a modern Da Vinci if I want to. And whenever I say that, that's not me like being egotistical. That's Da Vinci didn't give a fuck whether or not you wanted him to be this or be that. He just followed his curiosity and his interests and made that his fucking life. He led his life through his curiosity. Okay? And that's what I choose to do with this life. Uh, we have certain liberties and freedoms where we can be like, you know what? I'm done being an employee. I want to try to be an entrepreneur and figure things out and like figure out the creative challenges of like I'm a sensitive artist and I like to do this with art and shit like that. But let me tack on the challenge of trying to come up with business ideas and ways to market this and blah 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 and free up my time and figure out ways I can free up my time and how I can do this. It's such a beautiful time to be alive. And this is only half of it, the freedom of choice and decision. The other half is I've listened to a good number of like interviews and podcasts from pretty successful people in a variety of ranges. And I've heard a couple of them talking about in the past where they would listen to like Tony Robbins or even fucking the drummer from Blink 182, Travis Barker, described reading the book who Tim Grover, Michael Jordan's trainer, his book Relentless. Fact of the matter is it's like this is a tool people have been using for a while. Seminars and all that shit used to be popular, and you'd have to spend a bunch of money to go to them. But it's like with this phone, I don't think it's wise to do this because I believe what I'll get into in a second with utilizing benefits of the past. But I could literally feed my brain motivation 24 hours of the day as fuel and just keep me going. I believe in discipline. I've developed a level of discipline and strict control over certain things in my life and certain parameters where I get shit done, and I don't really need to sit there and watch David Goggins all day long. But as a tool to spark yourself, or as a tool to gain new perspectives if you're feeling like you've hit a bump or you've fucking hit a wall and you're one click away from somebody being like, hey, if you go down 5 feet to the right, there's a fucking doorway and you can get through it. The fact that you have this at your disposal is invaluable. It's literally an unmeasurable amount of possibilities for the future for all of us. There might be someone hunker down like I am in a fucking rural ass town. Nobody's ever heard of him, and he's just fucking working on his craft. He's just fucking developing. He's just waiting for that perfect fucking moment to just come out. He's got all this wisdom and all these things he's been reading, as well as all these things he's been putting into practice, and he's just fucking waiting for the second that he's just fucking jump from the start line. And that's a common thing nowadays because of this access. And I think it's beautiful. Now, whenever I mentioned utilizing things from the past, it touches more on balance and finding balance between having this tool. Oh, I want to learn how to fucking like throw Egyptian daggers and fucking bounce on one foot across hot coals or whatever fucking weird out there interest you have that there's not a teacher in your town to teach you this shit. You're one click away from it. To the old ways of a simple life, a self-sustaining homestead type life, maybe even a little off-grid living, maybe even a little bit of monk wisdom where it's like meditate, silence the noise, go for walks, do this, do that. It's like if you take both of these worlds, the good, the meat from the past, and leave certain bones per se, like the hard-headedness and the unwilling to look for new perspectives, because that's a lot of some things that I see that was wrong with certain, not everybody in the past, but there's a lot of people who had this mindset, this limiting mindset, because they weren't exposed like we are to all these different people and different possibilities, where they had a little bit of a limiting mindset towards things. But if you take that calm, that slow productivity approach, that chill approach of the past with this like abundance that we have in the future and in the present, and we combine them, you have fucking unlimitless potential, bro. Like, people try to act like someone like Kanye is crazy, but he's never fucking lied. He's never not done what he said. He used to be like, I'm going to be a fucking billionaire, and he was a billionaire. He used to be like, I'm going to go straight in on church and Christ and all this shit, and he did. Fucking use so much of his own money to start fucking choirs and all this different stuff. It's like, we have 100,000 other people like that have had a vision, had a goal, and have proved it online, and gave you an example of people who have achieved what they wanted. And that is 100% possible for you. It's like, all you have to do is mainly just keep your head straight on the goal at hand. Make tiny steps, chunk out processes of it, which pretty much chunking is just like, you're not going to build the fucking Eiffel Tower in a day, so just create small steps. I really got good at chunking time while I've been working as a general contractor, building houses hands-on. It's like, you got a giant fucking structure you want to build, and there's only 3 people to do it. You got to chunk out the fucking time for that. You got to be like, all right, today we're going to get this part done. Tomorrow we're going to get this part done. oh, we've been chunking time and progress for 3 weeks, and it's finally ready to put the fucking roof on it, completely dry it in. Wow, we achieved a lot. Now you're on to the fucking finish work, which takes 10 times longer than framing and all the other stuff. But you chunk it out. You fucking chunk it out, and that's the way you achieve this shit. You overload your brain whenever you focus too much on like trying to get so many things done in a day. But if you, like I said, go back to the past and pull from some of that wisdom of like calm. And Kyle Newport has this new book that he came out with. I haven't read it, but I've watched a lot of him talking about it. Slow productivity. The greatest works of art we've ever seen as a human fucking population has been through slow productivity. People working on something for a little while and then stopping. Working on something for a little while and stopping. And continuing that process for years. And then they come out with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. They come out with fucking the Mona Lisa. They come out with these amazing works of art that change the way we see things. They change the way we perceive. It's like, go back and look at some of the paintings from the Renaissance period. They're fucking crazy. They're like absolutely beautiful. There's been so many things like this, and paintings are the best example I can think of because this shit takes a fucking long time. No matter how quick you are, through my process of oil painting, you can do alla prima, which is like you try to paint one thing in one day, but you don't get the level of detail in just like the dynamics of a painting without letting it dry a little bit and adding some more. Letting it dry a little bit and adding some more. And fucking oil painting is like a perfect fucking example because you literally cannot add more until you wait a couple days for it to fucking dry. And a true oil painting on canvas literally can take up to 6 months to fully dry before you can put a finish on it. And if you try to put like something like a clear coat over the top of an oil painting too soon, before the 6 months, which seals your painting off as like, alright, it's done, it's fucking coated, nothing can penetrate it, it's got a sealer on it. If you do that before 6 months, it will start to crack and separate on you and shrink down with this fucking shit that's dried on top of it and fuck it up. So it's like, that's just me nerding out on one of my passions, which honestly, I've been utilizing slow productivity and I haven't painted in like 3 or 4 weeks. I've been focusing on other things. I've been building a lot of things in my wood shop and I've been falling in love with this like craft of manipulating wood and building things. I'm about to not be at this job anymore, but for like the past 2 or 3 months, I've been building this beautiful, well, 2 major things. Finally finished up this giant outdoor living room. It's like 800 square feet, fucking fireplace with granite all around it and a TV and a giant grill with stone all the way around it. Just this monstrosity. Now I'm building a fucking 30 by 40 deck with a pool in the middle of it, and it's just beautiful. I've figured out the handrail, and I've been putting that in for the past couple weeks. And it's just turning out good. We capped off our 4x4 posts and just cut like 45s in the top of it at a certain angle where it would just kind of cap it. And then we took hog panel and made slats and kind of slipped it in between them. And it's just turning out fucking good. But it's like, once you figure out certain things that you like, the possibilities are endless. Nowadays, bro, it's like you don't know. You got to be careful where you don't like play this shit like the lottery. Like for the longest, whenever I first started making these videos, I gotta get a video every day. I gotta get a video every day. I gotta get a video every day. Because I had this disciplined mindset through all these other things I did, where you do see progress every day through doing it consistently every day. But it kind of hurts the quality. I mean, I don't edit my videos. I have in the past, but I don't edit them. I try to keep them as raw as possible. In the future, once I get more time on my hands and I start doing these things, my image in my head and my goal is to combine all my interests into like one video type thing. but it's the quality goes down. And what I mean by that is it's like if I'm forcing myself to talk about something that doesn't pop in my head, where I can just ramble off for like 30 minutes about it, it's forced. It's bullshit. I just turn into another self-improvement YouTuber saying, don't beat your meat and take cold showers, bro, and then you'll fucking be a millionaire. It's like, I don't want that. I want to, no matter how trite it comes across, I want to talk for these, like, they're kind of turning out like little mini podcasts, because I'll go around a bunch of different topics in them. But it's like, I need it to be true. I need it to be pure, not forced. Whenever I make a song, it just comes out of fucking nowhere. The whole thing develops itself out of fucking nowhere, and it's finished, almost finished, within that session. It's why I'm addicted to making music, because it's like you get to tap into magic. No other thing I have is like that quick and that unexpected. The paintings, the ideas are a little unexpected as they develop and as I add more elements. Like a Salvador Dali painting, they're like magnificent because there's all these fucking creative ass elements where once I started oil painting, I understood how he did it. It's literally just like you have an initial idea of I'm gonna paint this thing, and then all these other ideas and elements that you can add into it just pop up out of fucking nowhere in your head, and it takes time to do it. But with music, it's even more, the process is expedited even more, because it's just like, you'll just be sitting there fucking with the guitar, or playing with the keyboard, or a drum machine, or trying a new beat on the drums, and all of a sudden you're like, well, what if I do this? And you hit the record button, and then you start adding layers, and you start layering, and then it's like, holy fuck, you have a whole song. Or you sitting down with an acoustic song, strumming 4 chords, and all of a sudden all these fucking lyrics just flow out of you like nothing. It's like Bob Dylan, one of the greatest songwriters of all time, in one of his interviews is like, yeah, I could have never written those fucking songs. I can't write those songs I used to nowadays. Like, if you listen to Bob Dylan's, I'm trying to think of the song where it's like, darkness at the break of noon, shadows even the silver spoon, the handmade blade, the child's balloon. If you listen to that song, it's like the message he was talking about with like people in his generation not understanding things and just being simple-minded, it still resonates today in a different way. And it's just like a fucking beautifully crafted song that he said just came to him like 20 fucking minutes out of nowhere. It's like you get to touch the divine, the unknown, the fucking spiritual world whenever you do some of these artistic things, which is why I've been bitten by it. And now it just comes down to me proving what I've said in this video with, if you have a plan and you're patient and you take actionable steps every single day towards it, you cannot lose in this day and age. If you're true to yourself and you're not bullshitting about actually putting forth the effort, it would be illogical for you not to succeed. As long as you put in the amount of effort required and you don't allow that voice to be like, you know what, I'd rather just go fucking chill and watch TV. I'd rather just chill and get high. I'd rather just chill. As long as you can delay the chill and enact the thrill. That was corny as fuck. But you understand what I'm saying. You will win. You will fucking win. And you don't have to get swept up by the modern hustle culture, because the hustle culture that we experience nowadays is a result of this inspiring ass time. But you separate yourself from the herd of thinking they're successful sheep, because they like to fucking shit on like normal people who don't have the ambitions that they do and call them sheep, but they're the same fucking sheep. You separate yourself from that herd by doing what you want, not fucking pursuing things that are trendy, as well as having some of the elements of slow productivity and quality of the past. One last thing I'll leave you with about things of the past is it's like talent used to be abundant. in the past, because once you found something, it wasn't like you got to choose from a million different fucking things. Most people had crafts. Most people had time that we spend on our phones and our devices and our electronics. They had time to just fuck around with their craft. That was their release. That was their fun. That's what I've been trying to do, is create these things that I have as relief and fun, or instead of a hit of dopamine or a high from a joint or a buzz, I get a creation that is equally as satisfying, but is also leaving me with something made. That's what they had in the past, is they had shit done. You fucking want to feel good, you go out and plow your fucking field, and you have a plowed field. It's hard, but you fucking have something at the end of it. You want to go in the fucking shop and do something in the past, you go in the shop and you work towards your project, and now you're one step further. That is the way of the past. It's like, if you were in a small-ass town, you would have talented-ass ranchers and people who knew this and knew that and had this talent and these skills. Nowadays, you have an abundance of people being like, I don't know what to do with my life. Life seems so meaningless. I don't know. I need answers. Please tell me answers. It's like, bro, go and do something, dog. Walk your fucking dog or something, boy. It don't matter what you do. Put the fucking internet down for a second and do something in the real world. It's like, it's complicated. My goal is to try to figure out some of these things in my own line of thinking through these videos. Do what I enjoy doing. Spend time with my family. And right now, got a good amount of money saved up, so the goal is going to be separating myself from my job as a general contractor, homesteading some shit, because I got some hookups. I got the cows and the calves. I got enough fencing and posts to build me a fucking acre off to put cows on it. I already got birds and chickens and shit. And I'm just going to start fucking Hank Williams Jr. Grandpa taught me how to live off the land type shit. His taught him how to be a businessman. Yeah, that's all. Chase paper, enjoy nature. Have a good one, my boy.